Remember when I said,
I think in the future, Hypixel will keep updating party games through small shadow updates.
Well, Hypixel did just that, and they actually fixed the game, including all of my favorite map escapes. So a little while ago, I decided to make a spreadsheet where I kept track of all the known bugs in party games, patched and unpatched. This was meant to be a fun project that I was going to share to the community, so that I could show all the funny exploits to the new gens and have some funny reactions. I've never seen a chicken run.
Let me on.
No,
Chicken
why is the
running.
chicken running?
Now for some reason, I don't know why, I shared this to the larger arcade community instead of gatekeeping the funny exploits. This will come back to haunt me later. So a couple months later, some bugs get fixed, including the broken speed boost in chicken rings, and the community goes wild. Holy shit, the game is actually getting fixed. Are the devs finally paying attention to party games? Well, that was just the beginning. Fast forward to October and the devs drop the first bomb. A bunch of map escapes get fixed, and it's all just harmless bugs that don't give you any advantage. Now you might be wondering how I ended up here. Well, you can't run up here anymore, but the way you would do it was to go all the way to the center of the maze, wait for the spider to arrive, and let it hit you up on the ledge. Then let it hit you again, and then you could just run off into the distance. Hypixel fixed this by adding leaves where you could get hit up, and by adding a barrier ceiling, which makes it impossible to get onto the leaves. The small problem with that is that people who play in F5 now get a really wonky gameplay because of the barriers. And that is why I have a spider maze guide and why I play in first person. One of the goofiest map escapes by far is how you can escape lab escape. Oh my god! I mean, that's kind of the point of the game, but I meant literally escaping the tube in Lab Escape. For whatever reason, there is a hole in one of the 16 tubes in Lab Escape where you can just escape and run around. I'm not sure if the builders forgot or if devs who were testing the game had to break out and they didn't patch it back, but this is definitely up there on the silly list. 10 years later, they finally fixed it. You can't escape Lab Escape anymore. Well, I mean, you still can, but you know what I mean. Yeah! There is still one map escape that Hypixel hasn't fixed yet, and since it's harmless, I kinda hope it stays. Because of all the harmless map exploits Hypixel had fixed, this update was called the No Fun Allowed update. And this is where I find out that someone from Arcade actually gave my spreadsheet to the admins. I am so sorry for posting that spreadsheet. 1 week later, the admins dropped the second bomb, and that is where it goes too far. You see, there was a strat mins had been using for years which allowed them to one-shot pigs and cows in animal slaughter. This is how scores up to 260 points were possible, and that was fixed. We were completely nerfed, and that wasn't all. If you spammed space in RPG 16, it was possible to just fly in the air for as long as you wanted to. This was fixed on the same day so that you couldn't stall in the air anymore. As a result of the gameplay changing so drastically, we had to legacy and reset those 2 world records, and people did not take it well. At the end of the day, it's great that Hypixel is actually fixing some things in party games, but I'm sad to see some of my favorite exploits go, since most are completely harmless. It kind of reminds me of how Celeste devs kept some bugs in the game that speedrunners used. Those bugs actually became features, which is what I wish Hypixel did. I mean, escaping Spider Maze literally only gives you a disadvantage. It's the small things in party games that make it a little more fun and interesting when the game gets too repetitive. So I think some of those bugs should have stayed as features, but that's just my take. I hope you learned something new. If you made it this far, please subscribe because I'm posting weekly and you'd hate to miss a banger. Alright, bye!